Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, March 22nd. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple quick clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing and the candlestick you see right there will be moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, FRC, continues to be all over the place. And definitely a couple updates here that need to be done. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level there, as that was more of a curiosity level and never really played out today. But the first level to point out is just this red line here up at 1850, which I talked about in yesterday's video. So for those of you that did watch that video, hopefully you remember me talking about that as resistance, and you can see that's ultimately right where it did prove to be resistance. The good news is the price is still within striking distance of that area, and if the price does push up through there, the next key level of resistance you'd want to watch closely is that purple line right there, 50 period moving average, right now valued right there at the $22 mark. So again, 1850 and then 22, two main levels of resistance if this thing does try to bounce back upwards. And as far as levels of support are concerned, what I would call a very important level one now moving forward is right here at $13.50. And that is important because if the price can stay above that level, that will give it a higher base. Meaning if the price comes down here, bounces around and then heads back up, well, then if you envision these lows as stair steps, so you have a stair step right there low, you have these lows down there as another stair step. Well, these stair steps are actually now making progress in the upwards direction, and nothing can go straight up, but you just want to see if progress can be made. And again, quote unquote progress in this situation being defined there at that green line of 1350. So keep an eye on that. And then, like I said, if this movement tries to continue upwards, then you're going to want to watch these two main areas of resistance. But overall, a good day. Let's just see now if the price can continue to bounce and again show those signs of progress. Next one here, CISO, an interesting setup here as a penny stock, which is always popular, good solid volume. Now this will, is this the good or bad looking chart? Well, it depends. I mean, if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 10 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks really, really bad. But assuming you're not in it or just observing, then definitely an interesting dynamic here because yes, from here, down, 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 things are looking very, very sketchy. But all of a sudden, the price at least did start to go sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Because the price started to go sideways after going straight down does not mean that for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and for sure guaranteed this thing is headed back up. But is it at least valid? Is it at least plausible to think that maybe this is the bottom of the pullback and this thing's getting ready to turn itself around? Of course, not guaranteed, but more than plausible. So on that note right there, the first key level of support is nothing fancy, just the question of where did the bleeding, where that downwards movements finally stop. Right there at 37 cents, so watch that as a key area of support. And then in terms of levels of resistance, main dynamic to watch, initially going to be right there at the 45-cent mark, but you want to be careful because just because it breaks above 45 does not mean that it's all free and clear, because not that far away you then have the 200 period moving average there at 48 cents. But like I said, the most interesting dynamic on this one is that, yeah, pretty violent pullback, but now with the sideways price movement, is this pullback over? Is there going to be another surge back up to those highs? Let's see what happens. Next, BOIL, and same general idea of what we talked about on FRC, meaning, yeah, nice bounce here, but is there any genuine strength behind it? Well, let's see if it can show some signs of progress, which again prompts the question, okay, well, Clay, how are you defining a quote-unquote sign of progress? And that's where we're going to use our support level down here at $4.20. Again, same general idea. If the price comes down here, bounces around and then heads back up, then when you draw those stair steps based on the lows, low there, you have stair steps progressing the upwards direction, and that's what a truly strong move is going to do. Not go straight up, nothing can go straight up, but just show signs of progress. And again, the sign of progress, $4.20. In terms of levels of resistance, as of right now, all about that purple line there, the 50 period moving average. You can see back in its history, presented problems right there, and then you fast forward to today, and once again is presenting problems. So current value of the 50 period moving average right there at $4.63. But the most impressive dynamic here is good solid move today, great bounce, but can this bounce continue to show those signs of progress? Let's see what happens. Next one, NIO, did this one in yesterday's video, and higher highs and higher lows, so the nice upwards move continues, so certainly updates need to be done. First update I'm going to do now is just adjust this area of green. Whenever levels of support need to be adjusted in the upwards direction, assuming you're bullish, that's always a good thing. So the newest areas of support, what I would call the ideal level right here at the $9 mark. Ideal meaning for Ask Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? And that would be if the price stays above $9. Now, don't get me wrong, if the price falls below 9, that doesn't mean the entire chart's epically destroyed. But yeah, if the price could stay above 9, that'll be a great sign. But from more of the overarching standpoint, all about the purple line there, the 50-period moving average, and as the name implies, moving average. So as time goes by, that line's going to move itself higher and higher. So it's basically going to be a trend line that draws itself for you. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price does remain above the quote-unquote trend line, then overall the bulls are still in full control. In terms of levels of resistance, pretty straightforward here. You have this well-defined area of resistance right up there, which puts the breakup point up around $9.40. And then for you pattern players, real quick, I'll draw that in. So resistance, support, and I'm doing this very crudely, but we have ourselves a little bull pennant pattern there too. But all in all, good solid day. Next one, AMC, good day here. We had this sideways movement, and I commented how, were we going to be entering into some sideways channel? And as of now, it's looking like no, because as I speak, the price is attempting to get a break to the upside of the pattern, which is going to be the big question mark in my mind going forward, is the price is above that red line, which implies that a breakout has occurred. However, is it truly a breakout? Is there any sort of genuine power behind the breakout? In my opinion, unknown, because the price is still barely above that level. But again, that does at least be able to prompt that important question, that exciting question. I mean, think about it. To say, okay, is this the start of something bigger is much better than, well, I can't ask that question because nothing's even happened, right? So at least something has happened, which allows for that question to be asked. So yes, it's broken above that red line. Is this the start of a bigger pattern breakout to the upside? Let's see what happens. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then definitely get signed up for the free live training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. Next one, ticker symbol QNCX. Nice move here and goes along the lines of, what was it earlier? CISO, where you had the nice move, then you had it pull back, and you start to wonder, oh, is this thing going back down? But you can see it leveled off. It is now ever so slightly increasing the upwards direction, which creates a good solid pattern. So you have, at least in my opinion, a pretty well-defined breakout area right there up at that level of $1.48. So $1.48 is that level where if it's broken, are there any guarantees? Of course not, but does it become valid? Is it plausible to think that a break of $1.48 could cause this thing to get up to these highs and then up above there? Yeah, absolutely, especially if it's a high volume break of that level. And what would lead you to believe that it could very well be possible? Well, the fact that, like I said, these lows have been getting higher and higher and higher. So in and of itself, there's some little stair steps that have been built. So it just all leads to that question of, is this a leading indicator of a breakout and then continuation to come? We'll see what happens with it. But if you like these sorts of patterns and you like stocks down below $5, certainly keep an eye on it. Next, MARA, and overall a good solid move. Now this will mean a bit more to those of you that have watched past videos, but if you have, you know that I've talked about that purple line and how pullbacks are not the end of the world. And classic example right here. Yes, the price pulled back, but notice what happened relative to that purple line there. Never violate it, never close below it. So sure, pullbacks are not exciting, they're not fun, but they can be healthy. And that's what proved here, because it came down here, stayed above that level, and now all of a sudden, as I speak, the price is even higher than where it was back there. So overall, classic example there of how pullbacks, assuming they're healthy, are nothing to be feared. So as far as new updates are concerned, first key level to watch right there, that breakout point at $8.50. As I talked about in a previous one, I don't remember, 850, NIO, like on NIO, is 850 some sort of do or die level? The price falls below there and everything's destroyed? No, of course not. But if the price does stay above there, that would make it look the strongest. But like that 1-2, that 50-period moving average, as it moves itself higher and higher, as I already talked about, as long as the price stays above that purple line, then the bulls remain in full health, full control. But yes, overall, higher highs, higher lows. MARA just went through that healthy consolidation, healthy pullback. So let's see how far this trend continues. Next one, FFIE, another penny stock here with a good solid pattern. And this is the pattern that you got to think a lot of people are watching. And I make that comment because when a lot of people are watching the same pattern and wondering the same things, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So let me change that to green to represent the support. and then get this all the same color. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big upwards move right here. We'll put the golf ball down there to make it more visual for you golfers, and this is a bull pennant pattern. So again, there are no guarantees, but is it plausible to think that there's a lot of people thinking, wondering, okay, if the price comes up to the top of that pattern and breaks up through it, I'm going to buy because I'm a breakout player, and oh, look, that thing's breaking out. Yeah, that's valid. Self-fulfilling prophecies. Call it whatever you want. So if you like penny stocks, if you like bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on this one. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Big move on this one. For a while, it was looking like maybe this thing gets trapped in this sideways channel pattern that I talked about yesterday. But no, this one today gapped up above that level. Opening 30 minutes, you can see right there, big green candle, and never really looked back. Sure, there was a couple little minor pullbacks along the way, but a slow and steady grind in the upwards direction as it's now looking like it wants to give that $200 mark another potential run up around that area, which brings about our next level of resistance. So I'm just going to go ahead and adjust this level up with next key battleground being right there at the $250. I was going to say $200.50, but let's just call it 200. 200, that big old round number. So $200, which you can see presented some problems back there. Seems to be within striking distance now, only, basically $2.50 away. So can the price get up that level, and then can it get a break up through it? That seems to be, well within the realm of reason. And if the price can push up through that level, next key level of resistance after that would then be up there at $203.50. So resistance is $200, $203.50 in terms of levels of support. Initial level that stands out to me, at least with any sort of pullback, right there at the $193.50 mark. And then, of course, like the other ones, as I've talked about, all about that purple line, that 50-period moving average. So as it moves upwards, then envision that as the trend line. And as long as the price stays above the trend line, then the overall trend is still plenty bullish. Next, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ. So if you believe that the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. Difference being it just allows you access at a lower price point, which makes it a very popular ETF. And overall, very, very solid day. Going to go ahead and get rid of that and then make this first update. And this is just based on the fact that when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. So moving forward now, this area right here at $24.90 is going to be a key level of support. In fact, you can see on the pullback here, beautiful example, power of technical analysis. So I'll turn that into a quick plug. Get signed up for the free webinar there. You can see just a classic example of that. And then we have the price hovering right up here around this red line here. I'm going to consider that a level of resistance. And I also think that looking like a pullback, at least earlier on Wednesday, is possible due to the nature of this candle here that's formed during the last 30 minutes. So this kind of candle forming at a level of resistance, once more, there are no guarantees, but would it be shocking to see some sort of pullback or gap down? No, I don't think so at all. I don't think anybody would be shocked by that. No, but remember, a pullback doesn't mean that everything's destroyed. Think back to MARA, pullbacks can be just fine. But like I said, given the nature of this last 30 minutes, looking like a pullback is going to be underway. So I'm just going to, we'll see, can the price actually stay above and separate from 25.75? Given the last 30 minutes, it seems as though 25.75 is acting relatively annoying, but we'll just have to see what happens with it. But at the core, if you take a step back and look at things from the bigger picture point of view, this thing's continue to put in these higher highs and higher lows, and that's the name of the game with, like I said, the new higher high today compared to this one from a few days ago. So the trend does seem to be continuing to work itself in the upwards direction. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live training. Like I said, it'll be soon, Thursday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit the like button, leave a simple comment. Say hi, tell me what you traded today, tell me what you're watching tomorrow. So do those two things. Get signed up for that free class. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.